Welcome back, or hi if you're new, I'm Vox and this is my creative space where I share with you all of the crafts that bring me joy, and it is mostly sewing, and today in specific I would like to make a recap of everything that I've made and everything that I've purchased during the month of January. So my objective is to make this kind of recaps every month. It's not only a way for me to show you everything that I've made during the month, but also a way for me to keep myself accountable of how much I'm actually spending in my crafts and in my hobbies. Something that I often forget is digital items such as PDF patterns that I buy a lot, or embroidery files. Those are digital, so because they are not necessarily occupying any space in my sewing room, I end up forgetting about them. So as per my notes, I have finished 3 garments this month, so 2 of them were actually UFOs. I have bought 4 sewing patterns and 4 embroidery designs. So starting with the sewing patterns, this month I have bought 4. The first one, I'll start with the PDF. I have bought Simplicity 9886, I'll put it right here. This one is a recent release and I just could not resist it. It's actually rare that I get a sewing pattern that I like basically all of the views of the dress. I could actually see myself making the shorter version, but probably the maxi one, that's my favorite. I like it with the collar, without the collar, with the sleeves or without it. As you can see, for me, all of the views are actually quite pretty. I hope to make this one for spring or summer. It would be very appropriate, and it's very nice to do that color block. I love this pattern, but assembling the PDF file is going to be a mess because there are a lot of pattern pieces. You have pieces for one side and for the other because of the way that center panel of the skirt hits. So it's a lot of pieces to cut in the PDF, and then it's a lot of pieces to cut in the actual fabrics. But this is one of those that I think that the final product is actually worth all of the effort, and hopefully I make more than one, so it is actually worth the effort. So yeah, this is one that I hope to get to and to make actually this year. So in the next 3 that I've bought are actually paper patterns, and paper patterns is something that it's not easily accessible to me. So I live in Portugal. In here they are actually quite expensive. I often have to buy them online and have to pay for the shipping, and I don't have those $1.99 sales that you can get in Joan's. I wish. They are all Vogue patterns, and the first one is Vogue 9239. It is right here, and something that I love about these 3, I think they all probably came with a magazine to the lady that bought them. All of them are new and completely uncut. They all come from size 6 to 22 or 24, so they have the entire size range, unlike the ones that you can get on Simplicity's website that you have to buy either the first or the second size range. My favorite views are view D and view F. I'm probably never going to do the ones that have more of the pencil skirt. I like the ones with the full skirt, but yeah, this is a nice one, a nice basic to have in my stash. The second one is Vogue 9202. This one has this, I'll put the image right here so I think it's better for you to see. It has this line at the front that is like round, not straight, and I really like this one. Same as the previous one. For this one I'm very unlikely to do any of the views that have more of the pencil skirt. I like the views that have more of the fuller skirt, and honestly this is a very nice basic. I like all of the views as long as they have the fuller skirt, and yeah, this is another great basic to have in my stash. So, and the last one is Vogue 1862, and this one, honestly, I think that the pictures with the fabrics that they took, that they chose for this dress, and the pictures that they took, it really does a disservice to this design because you cannot see the style lines at all. So I'll put the style lines right here so you can see. There is this panel at the front that goes from the waist all the way down at the front that I think is a really unique design. They don't see this one very often, at least I don't. And even at the neckline, so the neckband, yeah, I think it's a neckband. If you see, it does kind of V at the front, and I think that's really unique as well. That's why I decided to buy this one. So the other 2 are more basic designs, but this one I think is more of a statement, and I'm really happy to have this one in my stash as well. So that's the sewing patterns. The other thing that I bought were 4 embroidery designs, and these were what they call teensy embroidery designs. They are really small, so I'll put them right here. One was the teensy bee, and the other one is a little mushroom, a little ladybug, and a little frog. They are really cute, really small, and they were actually on a sale, so they were 80 cents each, so they were really cheap as well. And yeah, as I said, I plan to use this one in specific for collars or for the cuffs or on shirts. They will be kind of hidden features in the garments that I've made, and I think that I'll make good use of these ones. And now going through the finished items that I've sewn this month, I finished 3. So one is actually the dress that I have right here. So I finished, this is the only item that I've actually sewn entirely during the month of January. January for me was a very slow sewing month, so I've finished this dress entirely, and I finished 2 UFOs that were basically almost finished. I just needed to do little things to them. But the dress first, this is a Burda pattern, and I'll try to put an image right here of the design. Let me just read, because as you know, with Burda patterns they have difficult names. So this is Burda 101 from September of 2015. So this one is really pretty. This is my wearable toil, and I'm classifying this one as my first hashtag Sean made me do it, because I was watching one of her streams, and she was the one going through the magazine, and I saw this design and I went straight away to burda.com and I managed to actually find it. So I bought this one as a PDF. I don't have the actual magazine, and I really like it. A lot of firsts on this dress. It was my first time using piping on a garment. This design actually closes with a side zip, so it's the first time that I've done a side zip as well, and my first time doing fabric covered buttons. So a lot of firsts in this dress for me, and I really like it. I'll put better images of it. It was not easy for me to sew at all, and I think that's one of the reasons why it took me so long. It took me the entire month. I did not understand the instructions at all, and that might have been my mistake. The thing is, I've learned to sew online. So with you guys on the internet, I usually buy PDF patterns that are entirely with the instructions in English, and I bought this pattern on Burda, on the Portuguese website of Burda, and I don't understand the Portuguese instructions at all, which some of you might find quite weird since it is my, you know, my actual language, but I'm not familiar with the sewing terms in Portuguese at all, and I think I didn't like the instructions as well for the little parts that I could actually understand. I did change the front of the pattern and to create a little overlap for the button placket, because otherwise in the actual pattern there is no overlap, and I think that there will be, you know, it would be gaping all of the time here at the front, and that's not quite the look that I was going for. So I created an overlap for the button. There was already an overlap for the neckband, but not for this area, which I found quite weird. Or maybe, again, maybe I didn't understand the instructions, that's why it wasn't sewn correctly. And yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I love that this skirt has a lot of fabric. And yeah, this is one that I want to do again. I did make, let me show you, and I think that is something that is quite important with this pattern, is to do a mock-up. So my mock-up is right here. I'll try to put a better image of it as well. So I did something quite simple, just with some remnants of fabric that I had, because it was quite important to double check the fit, because they don't give you any kind of description of the design. Going by the picture, I could understand that it seemed to be quite a fitted garment, and there are no finished garment measurements or anything. So if you do go for one of these designs, I do highly recommend making a mock-up first. Just a few more things about this dress. I think in my next version I'm maybe going to use a visible zip as a closure at the front, because using this elastic loops, they are just really annoying, or maybe I just have the wrong size of the loops. They are really hard to button up the dress when I have the dress on. The other thing is that it closes with a side zip. So if you have, for example, a large bust, it does close with the side zip, and you only have the space from one armhole to the other to pull the entire dress over your head to put it on, and then close with the side zip. So then even for me, and I don't have much, it is quite difficult, so I really recommend making the mock-up for that. I did make a few mistakes. For example, I hand sewn the neckband piece on one side with, actually I've sewn entirely with white thread, because on the grey fabric I wanted to use white thread, and then on the black I wanted to use a black thread, and I decided to entirely sew it with white. It doesn't look nice at all because I can wear as well with the dress unbuttoned, and when I do that you can see the white thread. I did end up redoing it on one of the sides with black thread and it looks much better, so I've redone one side. I have to find the patience to redo the other side as well. But yeah, overall I really like this dress, and I do recommend if you are committed to making the style line work for you, or if you understand the instructions better than I do. And the second garment that I finished is this one, and it is indeed finished because this one was in my UFO pile for a few months. And this one is actually a free pattern. This is the Cosette, I think, Cosette shirt by Lot of Things. I'll put the image of the pattern right here so you can see the style lines. And it is actually really nice. I did doubt how much I would like it before I finished and put it on, but it is really nice. I did do this one with a cotton fabric that I had in my stash. I would probably like it a lot more if I made it in a viscose, but I still really like it, and now I'm considering actually making another one. The pattern itself is supposed to have 4 buttons, but I did end up putting 5 because I messed up the spacing. And yeah, I really like this one. I usually avoid this kind of patterns where I have to finish the armhole with bias binding. It's kind of finish that I personally really don't like, but I think it ended up really nicely. If you don't like facings, this one actually has a very nice finishing. On the inside the facing is completely sewn, so it hides all of the raw edges, and at the bottom the button placket actually serves as a facing as well for the part that you are then going to tie into a little knot, so that to avoid the wrong side of the fabric from showing a lot. And the collar piece as well is sewn and kind of hidden inside of the facing as well, so it has very nice construction in my opinion. The thing is, it is entirely in French, the pattern. It is a French designer, but I don't speak French, and just by the images I managed to sew this garment entirely. So I really do recommend, if you have already some sewing experience, I think just by the images you're able to put this one together, and I really do recommend in that case. So, and the last one was another UFO, and a kind of a silly one. It was basically finished. I did embroider even a cat on the back of one of the legs. It was the Joan joggers by Vikisews. I had already shown it in a previous video that I'll link up here. The only thing that was missing was to add some elastic at the bottom of the legs to finish it up, but I had to get the pattern that was already back in storage, and I was just lazy to go and do that, so it lingered in my UFO pile for quite a while. But I finally went to pick it up, and I did finish it. Then I think the reason why I didn't finish it for so long is because it's just a garment that is not very exciting. So I did have my partner try it on and he liked it, so now he kept it. I'm actually going to give this one to him. So if he does accept the model from me, I'll put an image right here of him wearing the pants. If not, I'll just put an image and link to the video up there where I've shown it previously. So, and that's all of the garments that I finished the month of January. For the month of February, I have 2 projects cut out that at least they are cut out, so I hope to actually get to sewing them. One is Grasser, I think 830, I don't know, I'm putting the number right here. And that one is another one for my partner, is a sweatshirt. I've promised to do this one for him in 2022, so I'm not sure 2024 is as good of a year as the previous, so I hope to finish this one this month. And the second one that I've cut out as well is Simplicity 9818, so it's the 1950s blouse, and I hope to have that one done as well for this month. And this completes my sewing recap for the month of January, and I hope you're subscribed because my intention is to do one of these episodes at least every month. Would be lovely to have you for my next one. Thank you a lot for watching and happy crafting!